Okay, so what we saw in that last video is that the lateral area, the area of the paper towel roll, right, not including the top and bottom circle bases, is 2 pi, whoa, there's a pi missing, 2 pi times radius times the height, right? The height being the height of the paper towel roll, and the 2 pi r being the circumference, the distance around that circle base. So 2 pi r h. And then the total surface area is the same stinking thing. It still has that 2 pi r h. The only difference between total surface area and lateral area is this one adds the two circle bases. So it still has, it still has the 2 pi r h for the lateral area. It just adds in the circles. Okay, the 2 pi r squared. This is the two bases, and this is the, we'll call it the paper towel roll, right? Without the bases. Okay, so here we go. In example 4, it says find the total surface area to the nearest tenth. So our formula we know is going to be 2 times pi times r times h plus 2 pi r squared. And I know we're still getting used to all these letters in the formula, so r, remember with me, stands for radius, and h, remember, stands for height. So height being the distance between the bases, and again this r is radius. So let's start with our picture here in part A. First thing we want to do is identify all these things. Identify the R, the H, what's even the base. So here we have the paper towel roll, right? And then here we have the circle base. So they tell us in this problem that R equals 1. So we know that. The distance between the circles, since this is laying on its side, it's actually, our height is actually this 3 meters, the distance between the circles, right? And so when we go to enter that in as our h into the formula, we say 2 times pi, our radius was 1, so times 1 times our height is 3, plus 2 times pi times our radius was 1 squared. So let's go put this in the calculator. Okay, so I'm going to put it in the calculator all in one step. You can do that. 2 pi times 1 times 3, that's that 2 pi RH, plus 2 pi times 1 squared. Now, technically you don't have to do the 1 squared. We know that 1 times anything is going to be itself, but if it makes you feel better, by all means put it in there. Now, I believe our instructions said to the nearest tenth, so we go to this 1 here, the tenths place. Look 1 decimal place to the right. That is less than 5, so we keep it at 25.1. Okay, so now we're going to go back to here. So our final answer will be approximately 25.1 meters squared. Okay, let's take a look at another one before we try. This is another cylinder laying on its side. So again, don't be confused that the bases are not technically the top and the bottom here. They're actually the left and the right hand sides, but they're still always going to be those circles, right? Okay, it tells us again in the problem that our radius is 5. We need to now find the height, the distance between the circles. So our height here is the 24. All right, again, our formula, 2 times pi times r times h plus 2 times pi times r squared. So this is 2 times pi, our r is 5, times h, which is 24, plus 2 times pi times 5 squared. Okay, again, we'll go back to the calculator. Okay, here we go. So 2 times pi, remember the pi button is second and that arrow key there, times 5 times 24 plus 2, and you can do this in 2 steps if you want to, but I'm just thinking it's easy to put it all in one step, times 5 squared, 2 pi 5 squared, comes out to be 911 point, we go to the tens place, 6 is greater than 5, so we round up that 0 to a 1, right? So 911.1, don't forget, that would be feet squared. All of our units are always squared when it's area. Okay, so I hope what you'll do now is you'll pause the video and take a crack at this you try. Keep in mind this time they gave us the diameter, the distance all the way across that circle base, not the radius. So remember, you'll have to divide by 2 to get the radius. Okay, so I've written down my formula now. I divided my diameter 7 divided by 2 to get this 3.5 for the radius, for the r. And then my distance between my circle bases is this 10 here. So that's my height, that's my h, right? And so we just plug that in. We have 2 times pi times 3.5 times our h is 10 plus 2 times pi times 3.5 squared. And again, we put that in our calculator. Okay, so here it is in the calculator, 2 pi times 3.5 times 10 plus 2 pi times 3.5 squared. And it looks like that comes out to 296.88, which we will, since this 8 is 5 or greater, we will round that up to 296.9. And that's centimeters squared.